everyone, it's Jen from You So Much, and today we're going to talk about how to keep your ideal customer on your website sales pages or website pages in general. How to make sure that they're engaged with the page so that they really just keep wanting to read more and more and more until they read all the way to the very end. What is it about that page is going to keep them on it? So what happened was this weekend I went on a camping trip and I brought a book with me. I usually do when I go camping, and it was a really big thick book, and I thought I might get kind of halfway through it because I was planning on relaxing and spending time with family, even getting a little bit of work done. And quite frankly, I spent a lot of time with family, obviously, but I didn't get a lot of work done at all because I was so captured and caught up in this book that I could not put it down. I get towards the end of the trip, like my daughter was making fun of me because I was basically ignoring everybody else except for this book, right? So I'm sure we've all been there. We've all read a book that we really loved and it really captured our attention and it kept us reading it and kept us engaged. And so that's what made me think about how to do that on your sales page. What is it about your sales page that is going to do it similar to that book that you just can't put down, right? So the first way to keep them really engaged is to make sure you're resonating with your ideal reader. You're having a personal conversation with that one person and you're telling them stories that they can really relate with. You're saying things to them that they would have said themselves, that would have come right out of their own mouth, or things that they are thinking but are too afraid to say. Or you're describing feelings that they've had before or that they want to have, right? Their fantasies, the person that they want to be, and the life that they want to lead. It's almost like you know them better than they know themselves. Now, the second thing to do to make sure that they are keeping their eyes on that page is to really make sure that it flows well. Now, I did a video about this a couple years ago. Actually, it's one of my first videos. And the best thing to do to make sure that it flows well is that one sentence really leads well into the next. Because again, the goal of each sentence is to get them to read the very next sentence, right? So if it's flowing really well, then each sentence makes sense to lead to another. So it doesn't feel like there's some random paragraph sort of stuck in there that doesn't make sense logically and doesn't flow well. The other thing to really do is you break it up with some good subheadlines and some bullet points, and you really make it really compelling for them. If for some reason they do decide to just kind of scan, if they're already almost sold, sometimes they're just going to start scanning, and so the story is still being told, and it makes it easier for them to read if it's broken up a little bit and isn't becoming stale. The other thing you can really do is change the pace a little bit. Change the pace of your sentences and your paragraphs, and that will really also help make sure the flow is really well and it keeps them engaged and keeps them wanting to read more and more and not feeling bored. So the third way to make sure that they're staying on your page is to really keep it entertaining and interesting. So surprise them, or make a really bold statement, or be funny and be passionate, and really do things that really make them think in a whole new way that they've never thought before. And use words and metaphors that really engage all of their senses and make them feel like they're there with you, right? They're able to taste or see or touch or smell all those things that you're talking about. Use your words to make it real for them. And fourth and last but not least, for sure, this is probably one of the most important, is to keep them curious. So I think about all of my favorite books or all of my favorite sales pages, anything I've ever read keeps me curious because it makes me want to know more. Always have a question in my mind. And so the way that you do that is you drop hints and clues of new information or new ways of solving their problem, right? And you're always raising new questions for them, questions that they just have to answer. They just can't wait to know what the answer is. And so you continue to do that throughout the page so that it keeps them on that page and wanting to know how they are going to get the answers. So those are my 4 tips on how to make sure that your sales pages and website pages are super engaging so that the reader just has to read all the way till the very end. If you have any other ideas about how to do that, I'd love to hear from you. Think about your favorite book. What is it about that thing that you couldn't put down? Leave in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to write down your own fantasies because words make it real.